Good morning, happy new year. I'm going to continue my series. We're going to be talking about the extremely anxious attachment. So, they are characterized as a pervasive, intense fear of abandonment that keeps the individual's nervous system in a state of high alert all the time. When While someone with a secure attachment can tolerate distance, an extreme anxious attacher perceives even minor shifts in the partner's mood or behavior as catastrophic in the relationship. So they are extremely, uh, at this point, watching everything that their partner does, their tone of voice, how they react, facial expressions, even the way they text as a response. They are hyper vigilant on all of those cues. So whenever their behaviors would be like testing the partner by picking fights or even threatening to leave just to be asked to stay. This is the part where they keep doing that aggressive um, reassurance and threatening to leave just to make sure that that partner is not going to leave them at this point. Their self-worth is often tied entirely to the current state of the relationship. So the way that they feel about themselves is how they see their partner feeling about them. So if the relationship feels stable, they feel high. If they perceive it as distant, their self-esteem may plummet. This point, they have no boundaries, no respect for boundaries, no love for boundaries. They don't even have boundaries for themselves. They're literally losing themselves at this point. Anxious attachers often lack the internal tools to calm themselves down, or even triggered, and relies mostly on their partner's emotional regulation. So they literally 100% dependent on their partner at this point. This can be really overwhelming for people. So, delayed responses may trigger that their partner is losing interest. It may also trigger them that they're losing their mind at this point. Um, if a partner asks for space or seems preoccupied with work or friends, it can be interpreted as a sign of abandonment to them whenever they are extremely anxious. Calmness. Ironically, peace in a relationship can also feel unstable at this point, where the person is just waiting for the shoe to drop and for everything to be total chaos. How does this impact the relationship? Well, 100% it impacts the relationship. This style often creates a push pull dynamic with their avoidant partners, actually, with any partners at this point, where it is extreme closeness to make the other person feel like they're pulling away. The other person may also feel smothered. Okay, we've talked about that before. And in turn amplifies the anxious person's fear and clinginess. In extreme cases, they may lead to controlling behaviors such as snooping through phones or demanding constant check-ins, which ultimately erodes the trust they had in the beginning when they were feeling secure. The strengths, the silver lining of an extremely anxious person. Their sensitivity makes them deeply intuitive about their partner's needs. Yes and no. It makes them intuitive to their partner's needs. They will still, at this point, try to do anything to keep their partner, but they also have that lack of boundaries. So they are intuitive about their partner's needs, but they're also not seeing their partner's needs at this point. They are often exceptionally dedicated and willing to put in significant work in a relationship to make it succeed. Yes and no. They are loyal and committed, but they are losing themselves at their relationship at this point. They are to a point where they're giving so much to their partner that they literally don't have their own identity anymore. So there is some good and bad out of this type of dynamic. And I also found a few other things for extremely anxious attachments. So they talk excessively, they repeat themselves um, constantly. They may alternate between anger and crying spells. They're highly controlling. They have no awareness of their part of the problem, so they're not seeing their part, making the relationship going sideways. You know what I'm saying? So, and then they over identify at the victim role. So they are literally a slave to their own fear of abandonment at this point. Someone who is an extremely anxious attachment literally has lost themselves at this point. They have to seek therapy. There is no going back. They cannot have a good relationship being like this. And more often than not, they repeat themselves because even though they might be heard by their partner, they're not seeing it that they're being heard because they're in their own mind at this point. They are lost in their fear of abandonment. I have to repeat that because that is exactly what it is. They fear, no matter what, their partner's going to leave at this point. And they might. You never know. They try to do anything to get their partner's attention, and they can be highly controlling at this point, doing anything to make sure that that partner stays. And self-sabotaging the relationship. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. They will. At this point, they're crazy, and it's not okay. And this type of behavior really needs some extreme therapy. So I hope this video was helpful. Being a healing anxious myself, I just wanted people to understand what the different levels look like. Next up is going to be the mild fearful avoidant attachment. Stay tuned for that video.